Baker, how much these last two off seasons have CJ and Angie helped you get to the point where you want to get to physically?
Tremendously. I think, obviously getting your body right, that's the main goal in the off season is to, get physically and mentally ready to go for the next season. But yeah, CJ, he's been great, unfortunately, but good for him. He took a job in Baton Rouge with LSU as an assistant strength coach, so happy for him. But he's been great for my routine in the off season, and Angie, diet-wise, has been unbelievable as well. I was fortunate enough she went to school with Emily and her older sister, so that was it's great to have somebody that knows that much about nutrition.
Now that you've had a season and now another training camp, with this new regimen, how do you see it manifesting on the field? Like, is it quickness? Is it velocity on the ball? Like, where do you really feel the difference?
I'd say a little bit more quick twitch. I think efficiency in any of my movements within the pocket, throwing mechanics, any of that. I think from point A to point B is going to happen quicker.
And then on top of that, Matt and Emily, Matt with CJ and
Mm-hmm.
Emily kind of helping you see through the diet, like that support.
Yeah, no, it definitely takes a village. There's no doubt about that. I've never done it by myself, and so being able to have, going to workouts with your brother every morning during the off season is pretty fun, and then coming home and, having a home cooked meal is pretty nice too.
Hey Baker, the Chiefs are the gold standard in the conference. Is it a good team to? I mean, you're going to open up with somebody. Is it good to go against a team that good as kind of a measuring stick, see where you stand?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you said it, the gold standard. I mean, they've been top of the top in the AFC for the past decade or so. So, I mean, it's, they're highly competitive, so it's good for us to play somebody like that. But, it's all about the next game. So we're playing the Chiefs this week, and then, hopefully, obviously, looking for a win, and then move on to the next one after that. And you try and improve each week, and so this week we're trying to just do our job.
Is there like a moment or a play that's kind of stuck with you from that game in January?
I think there's a bunch. I think we watched the tape quite a few times. Just seeing how we were in the beginning. Like I said, we got to do our job. Not try and do too much. That goes for everybody. Just do your job, fundamentally sound, and try and execute.
Can you tell us how Jedrick Wills has improved from last year? Because his words were he said he was trash. I'm sure you don't believe that, but tell us how he has improved.
He said he was trash.
That's what he said.
I think a lot of that was him getting used to just footwork-wise. He was a right tackle his whole life, switching over to the left side, getting used to the fundamentals. I mean, that's tricky for him. So I wouldn't say that he played as poorly as he would describe, but he's definitely a lot more comfortable. And then not having to learn a new system and the terminology-wise of him knowing all those calls, being comfortable with it, and to where he can just improve on the physical stuff is, you see a big difference, and he's ready to go.
What are some things you learned about that Kansas City defense from that playoff matchup, and how much of that do you think will carry over?
Yeah, I mean, they've been playing extremely well together for a while. They're forcing you to make mistakes. They're trying to do that, trying to get the ball out of your hands and make you take chances. So it's about, like I said, doing our job, taking care of the football. But they do a great job of, creating mismatches and trying to get guys free on blitzes.
Even though Odell wasn't full go for much of training camp, it seemed like you guys got a ton of reps together this offseason as well, probably more so than at any point during an offseason since the trade.
Mm-hmm.
How is that going to help you guys this season?
Yeah, I think anytime you can get more reps, anytime you can go off experience and speaking the same language, I keep saying that, but it's just you're going to continue to see improvements. And for us, getting those extra reps and talking about the fine details and having time to do that, that's extremely vital for success.
Baker, with you guys playing, in front of mostly empty stadiums last year, if there were fans, there weren't many. What challenges do you face going into Arrowhead, and how have you guys prepared for it?
I think for us, obviously, Arrowhead is one of the more hostile environments in the whole league, and then them being back at full capacity, I can only imagine how loud it's going to be. So we have to know this game plan in and out to where if guys don't hear complete calls, they know exactly where to fill in the pieces, and we just have to be great in communication. Getting lined up quick to where if we do have to change something and fix something, we can do it efficiently. And so for our guys, it's just knowing the plan and doing your job, and handling adversity, because it's not like we're going to be shocked by the environment. We know exactly what we're stepping into, so we just need to do our job.
Kind of off that, Baker, what's the excitement like, to use a college terminology? It's almost like a top 10 matchup between you guys and the Chiefs. What's the level of excitement for just the competition?
Obviously, anytime you're playing in the NFL, you're playing against the best of the best. For us, it's it's about playing the guy in front of us and doing our job. Yeah, I wouldn't say that it's you erase for us. We erased last year. We're trying to start from game zero and move on from there. So we're trying to evaluate ourselves based on how we do our job and execute.
You guys had a go ahead.
The second half of the season, it was noticeable. Used your legs a lot more. Was that more of a byproduct of comfort in the system, or just to move the chains any way you could?
Yeah, I think it's comfort and going through the reads quickly, being efficient with it, and then also knowing how teams were trying to defend us. And we did see some zones and some man coverage a lot back half of the year to where there were some lanes to scramble out. And I think that's just us trying to eliminate negative plays and stay ahead of the chains. So I think that's going to be another key emphasis for me as well.
Baker, you guys had a lot of success offensively after Odell's injury, and people almost forget what he can do. Off of what you guys were able to accomplish last season, what element is he going to bring you guys now that he's almost back in the fold?
Yeah, obviously his catching ability speaks for itself, but I think people forget how truly fast he is. To be able to take the top off of defenses and safeties have to worry about that. And so teams are going to have to defend it and pick their poison. Because we're a physical run-first mentality team, and that's not going to change no matter who we have out there at receiver. But he adds an element to where teams are going to have to decide.
What's going to be the challenge for you, because his talent is so tantalizing, but you got a bunch of playmakers. You have a system that obviously has worked. So balancing, utilizing him with just running the offense that worked so well for you guys last year.
For me, it's just going through my reads. We're going to call the shots, and Kevin's going to get those dialed up when he feels comfortable in doing so. And for me, it's just going through the reads, not forcing anything. And much like the mentality I had second half of last year, just find the open guy and go through my reads, trust the system, and go through my progressions every play.
Have you noticed any change in Odell since the first year he was here, Baker?
He cut his hair, and it's not blonde anymore.
But I mean, in just his approach or how he fits in or anything like that.
No, I think there's always a picture that wants to be portrayed about him. We've talked about it quite a bit. He's a very passionate guy when it comes down to football and competing. He wants to win, and he's a guy that once he's in your locker room, you appreciate the passion and the drive that he has. And no, there hadn't been a whole lot of change.
Baker, to what extent did you use that January 17th loss as fuel through the offseason?
I think that's always something that's always in the back of your mind. It's the last time you stepped on the field for real, and just knowing that you win that game, you're in the division or the conference championship, and the next game's Super Bowl. Just knowing how close you are to that, and just all the little things matter. So I think for us, as we continue to talk about our goal this week, is to do our job and focus on that, and it's all the little things that matter.
We've talked so many times about that bye week being crucial for you guys last year, and how you guys kind of took off as an offense after it. With everybody back pretty much, do you think you can hit the ground running kind of out of the gate this year?
That's the goal, and for us, like I keep saying, it's just about doing our job. We have the bread and butter, the fundamentals, the schemes that we know we're good at, and we need to keep building off of those and do those extremely well. And so, when we have our shots, take advantage, no negative plays. But yeah, it's about doing our job efficiently. So hopefully we do hit the ground running. That's the goal.
Is there actually a minefield at Yellowstone?
There is. I think number 12 down in Tampa Bay had something to do with that one. But yeah, I think so.
Hey, as far as the Chiefs, you mentioned before the gold standard. How much have they, and what they've done on offense, Baker, over the last 5, 10 years, whatever, changed the way everybody plays?
I mean, they play fast. I think they're so heavily based on mismatches and getting guys open and formatting stuff to look similar and have some creative ways, week in and week out to make different plays, but they all look similar. I think they're just very innovative in the way they call the game. And obviously Patrick's done a great job. They have some great athletes that are making a lot of plays. So I think it's making teams get up and get lined up fast, pick their poison on how they want to defend them, and I think you see that around the league.
When we talked to Nick after Kansas City game last year, he was clearly disappointed and admitted that and wasn't happy with how he played. Have you seen that motivate him at all through the offseason or even this training camp?
Yeah, I mean, you can tell. I mean, not that his body language is much different anytime, but he's definitely got a little bit more hunger, ready to roll. He's definitely more vocal this year, which I think he's been eager to get back at it. I'd say that's the biggest difference.
Is it almost shocking to hear him more vocal?
It is. I told him I just want one free Chipotle burrito off his deal, and that's about it. That's about it.
How did the Yellowstone trip come about, and how do you think you guys benefited?
Yeah, I think anytime you can spend more time off the field, you build chemistry. Obviously, that 3-day mandated time off from the league, just a chance to get away and do it safely within not exactly being around a whole lot of people. We'll benefit from that just based on bonding and that time off the field.
Do you think you guys are closer this year than you have been since you've been here? I mean, you guys seem to get together quite a bit in the off season on your own.
Absolutely. I think just based on the fact that we are able to be around each other, you're going to see that improvement just because the trust, the open communication, all the things that we're able to openly talk about.
Baker, there seems to be, over the last 2 years or so, you guys kind of taking ownership of the team, and that just how important has that been, not only for you as one of the leaders, but just collectively as a group to fuel this turnaround, the fact that you guys really seem to have taken it upon yourselves to get this thing where you want it to go.
That's what you want to see, and I think our coaching staff would say the same things. They're creating a baseline, and they want to feel comfortable enough to let us run with it and take ownership of that, have the accountability within the locker room, and have that strong leadership. And so, we want to have that, and that's the kind of team that we have. That's why I keep saying that the people that we've brought in, the pieces, culture-wise, it's been great for the team, for the franchise, and it needs to continue to head that way. And that's one of my biggest jobs.
Baker, how do you feel, physically, mentally going into the season compared to last preseasons? Given the work that you put in, the experience, having in the continuity that you now have around you.
I feel great about where we're at heading into week 1 compared to last year, just because of having that communication with Kevin, AVP, about game plan wise, thoughts, suggestions. Whereas last year I was still learning and getting some of those live reps on some of the new schemes that we were doing. So for me, obviously far ahead of where it was, and I think I'd say the same for everybody else as well.
Did you guys talk more about life than football on that little Yellowstone?
We did. We played a lot of card games, some competitive things. It was great. Those are the types of things that you remember, you look back on, and those trips, and you look back on it and enjoy the year because of the friendships and the bonds that you have.
Who's the best card player?
Well, no comment on that one.
Baker, Kansas City, obviously, you'll probably have something new to show you from a defensive perspective, and you vice versa. You probably have something different to show them offensively. But just how tough is it going into a week 1 game where you can't go back and look up last week's game, 4 quarters of it, to game plan against what they might do?
Yeah, I think that goes with any week 1. The first couple weeks of the season, you're going to see what they want to put on tape preseason games, but you got to go through and trust your eyes, trust your rules, the base fundamentals, and then when you get back to the sideline after seeing a new look, adjust and adapt. So it's about eliminating negative plays early and adjusting and seeing how they want to attack, because every team's going to have different schemes, things that you haven't seen before, and that's just the nature of the game, and we have to be prepared to handle it correctly.
Baker, last one. Has Myles Garrett kind of changed as a person since you've been here? Has he been a little more open or kind of
MGTV's changed him, man. He's got his YouTube channel. He's definitely come out of his shell a little bit. Not that I think he was ever too quiet of a person. I think he just had to be pretty close to get to know him. It's good to see Myles, wear his personality on his sleeves, and for people to see that, and the caring human being that he really is. Off the field, on the field, it's a different story. But I'm happy for Myles and him, showing that personality.